I feel like if anybody else was running that company when a worldwide pandemic hit, they would have closed up shop. They wouldn't have been able to keep going.
You know, there were so many factors that allowed that. One was the passion of Tony Khan, and two, the fact that, you know, they own the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
They don't own the stadium, but they have the lease on the stadium. So we had a stadium we could use. We had a whole amphitheater in Daly's Place that we could use. So we didn't have to worry about it. And we were in Florida where wrestling was deemed an important, whatever the official term they used back then. Essential service, whatever, because it was providing entertainment. So we were set. We didn't have to do a damn thing. We it's like it couldn't have worked out any better. I remember when the pandemic started, there was a ruling that came out, let's say, that they were shutting everything down in Florida and Georgia at like 12 midnight.
Yeah.
And we had 24 hours to go to QT Marshall's gym, decorate it like a television set, and basically do like 30 matches to get all those weeks in the can.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I started commentating, because I was supposed to be on the show as the commentator that week, just like, well, I'll commentate for whatever we were doing in the story.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. Well, then I'll fly there and just commentate the whole show. And then after those 4 weeks were done, we were like, where are we going to work? And I was like, well, fuck, like, let's do it in my backyard. I've got a big backyard. Let's set up a ring and put some lights. Can we do a TV taping at my backyard? You can't tell me that I can't have people over at my house. And then we were able to use Daly's Place, which was the... Had we not had that, who knows what would have happened? And this TV deal that kept it going. If it was still an ad rev share like it was for the first 3 months, we might have had to close up the doors. But all those things kind of happened to allow us to stay away.
When you talk about the passion of Tony Khan, you've worked for two billionaires now, Vince and Tony. What are the similarities there, and what are the differences between working for both of them?
I mean, the passion is the similarities, you know, and you have to have it. The enthusiasm, for sure. The wrestling knowledge, even though Vince was in his 70s and Tony's in his 30s. But I always think back to what was Vince like in 1982 when he took over, you know, WWF. And he was probably a lot like Tony, you know. Ways of running the companies are different. Vince has more of an iron hand and Tony's more of a people person, when there's pros and cons for both of those. But they're two different people. You know, and that's never going to change. So the coolest thing about working for both of them is you almost become like a billionaire whisperer. You know, you got to know how to talk to these guys. And when you can figure out how to talk and relate, you can have a great relationship. I had a great relationship with Vince. I have a great relationship with Tony. And I have a lot of respect for both of them. You know, Tony's my boss. I have never once disrespected him, not done what he's asked of me, talked back to him, caused any problems whatsoever, because he's my fucking boss. And, you know, if we're on set for a movie and, you know, frickin' Steven Spielberg goes, hey, Chris, I want you to, you know, take this soda can and pour it over your head. And I go, that's fucking stupid. He's like, okay, well then they'll hire some other dude to come in and pour the soda can over his head. It's like, this is show business, and we play a role and a part in a show. And it doesn't matter if you like it or not. You have to make it work, and you have to make it good. It's what Pat Patterson taught me. He used to say about Vince that, you know, some days he likes chocolate, some days he likes strawberry, but it's his fucking ice cream shop. You got to make the ice cream. You do what he wants you to do. You don't like the chocolate? Who gives a fuck? You make the ice cream. And that's my big thing. It's Tony's ice cream stand. So whatever he wants me to do, I'll do my best.